Start right now. Just give us a second, we'll be live in about now. Good evening. Welcome to the meeting of the Community Environment Committee, which has been held here at Newton Pavilion on Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. I am Councillor Terry Stevens and I'll be chairing this meeting. Before we start, there are some housekeeping points to note. We're not expecting a fire drill, but if the fire alarm sounds, please leave as quickly as possible. The fire exits are and fire employees at assembly points and at the car park at the front of the building. There's also toilets in the foyer. So please can you turn off your phones or put them to silent. We want everyone to be able to hear and respect whoever is speaking. Also, you should be aware that we're recording this meeting on social media and it'll be streamed on our social media channels. So I will now ask the members of the council and committee to introduce themselves, starting with Councillor Sam Brown.
Brown from the Lakes Estate.
Councillor Ron Hine, Bletchley and Denby North.
Richard Graham, Central Bletchley and Deputy Mayor of Bletchley and Fenny Stratford Town Council.
Ismail Hussain, Manor South.
Odelia Fernandez, Fenny Stratford. Marie Wyler, Lakes Estate.
Terry Stevens, myself.
Craig Scott, Manor North and Eton Lees.
Nathaniel Kelly Wilson, Newton Lees, and Mayor of Bletchley and Fenny Stratford.
Thank you very much. We've also got officers.
John Fairclough, Town Clerk.
Will Allen, Environment and Premises Manager.
Bradford Support Services Manager.
Thank you very much. We've got Davina on the screen. Okay, so we'll just go through the norms, please. Councillors, apologies for absence.
We haven't received any apologies.
Okay. And item number 2, note councillors' declarations of interest on any matters on the agenda.
So, Chair, I do not believe this is a pecuniary issue, but I have a friend and fellow church member who volunteers for St Mark's meals. So I will remain, but I'm not going to vote on this.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you. So just do the minutes of the meetings, pages 3 to 6. This is of the Environment Committee on the 2nd of December. I'll take silence as acceptance. Okay, thank you. So this evening we have representation from the members of the public. So if I may be allowed, if I can bump agenda item 7 up to do next before we do the planning applications, is everyone okay with that? Agrees. People get back. So we've got representation. So item number 7 now jumped up is to consider formally requesting the implementation of a 20-mile-an-hour zone in the section of Queensway outside Knowles. So we've got Clive, we've got George, we've got Lorraine, who's going to do some speaking on this on behalf of Fenny and the Weira Residents Association. So you have 3 minutes. Floor's yours, George.
Thank you, Chair. My name's George Danghoff from the Wolverhampton Residents Association. I didn't put forward what I want to speak about, but Lorraine will go through the request to reduce the speed limit. First thing I just want to point out, and it's just a matter of you should know, your public participation policy that was agreed in September 2022 and was supposed to be reviewed in September 2024, I don't think it's been reviewed. I went on a website and it still says waiting to be reviewed. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. As you're probably aware, our Residents Association, along with Lorraine's Residents Association, have started up Speedwatch, Community Speedwatch, which to some extent has been quite good. Also, we don't want to see people speeding. But what residents, at our last residents meeting, they decided that it would be helpful that if a town council could use their SIDS, is it SIDS, SIDS?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In
our local areas to help with the monitoring of speed and reducing traffic, because obviously we don't really go out during the winter months. You know, us old fogies can't stand the cold. So it would be helpful if you could consider using them near schools, 20 miles an hour areas and hotspots where residents have witnessed cars speeding. I think also there's been 1 or 2 incidents in Fenny Way, am I right?
Quite a bit.
So I don't know whether the citizens are gathering dust, but if they could be used in the local community, it certainly would be helpful.
How many seats have we got?
We've got one set of 2.
One set.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do require a post in the place that you want them.
Yeah.
So they can't just be used standalone. They need a
can understand
post
that.
installed. Yeah.
But certainly it would be helpful for the local community. The third action point I've got, I don't know if people were aware, is that 2 local bus stops have been closed or are to be closed along Walton Road. I tried contacting the council, and first of all they said it was to do with the town deal, the way the traffic's going to flow from out of Albert Street along Queensway and come out the other side. But then I said to them, well, sure, that doesn't affect the flow of the buses. They go up Brooklands Road and do a right at Fenny Way and then make their way around to the bus station. But then they come back and said, it's down to Arriva, which I can understand that. I just wonder whether the town council can just clarify why they've actually closed those 2 bus stops.
Absolutely do that.
Because there's people there who do use them. Not many, to be honest with you, but there are the elder community along Walton Road certainly do use them.
No, sure, we can do that. We can follow up on that. Yeah, definitely.
And the last thing I want to mention, sorry, I don't know whether everybody knows, there was a planning application came through on Facebook this evening about closing Saxon Street for 18 to 24 months to put that new bridge in. And they're saying it's going to start, hopefully, from spring 2027. So I think the town council to consider what effect that's going to have on the local community.
We've got something trying to get.
Yeah, we've got
I think that's the one. It's on the agenda tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
That planning application.
That's all I say. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks, George. Do you want to elaborate on the 20 mile an hour?
20 mile an hour. Knowles School, see it's Queensway. That's 30 miles an hour at the moment. So I don't understand outside the school why it's 30 miles an hour. We've done speed watch there. For us to do speed watch and catch anybody, it's been 30 miles an hour. So we can't actually catch anyone unless they're doing 37 miles an hour. If it was 20, I mean, there's a lot of cars which go between that 25 miles an hour and 27 miles an hour, 37 miles an hour, sorry. Up and down that road, whatever time of day. In the evening, obviously, it's a lot faster. So our request is to get the 20 miles an hour outside that school.
Okay, thank you. So it's on item 7 in your packs. So there's some really good statistics here from the speed indicator device, which was set between November 2024 and 2025. So if you sort of set the view that Knowles has got about 350 pupils. That's their age range 4 and 11. You've also got guardians picking and dropping them off. You've also got a staff team who works here as well. So it's not just the children, it's anybody who's accessing that school during school hours. It's impacted. And also though it might not look, the speeds might not be a lot. There are 1,000 vehicles which were recorded travelling over 40 miles an hour. So Milton Keynes guideline is very clear. It said you are 7 times more likely to survive being hit at 20 miles an hour than at 30 miles an hour to survive being hit. So that does carry significant weight. They've also got a number of criteria where they ask before you can have one of these applications put in, you have to make sure that it's going to be eligible 20 miles speed limit, be located in a built-up area, town or village within Milton Keynes. Highway officers have advised the applications are more effective to cover when in an area rather than a single stretch of road. So you can think about Vicarage Road, you can think about Victoria Road, alongside the relevant section of Queensway. It could have existing 30 mile an hour speed limit. It needs to allow 20 mile an hour signs to be applied to allow self-enforcement, and needs support from us and actually 2 ward councillors before we can actually put any evidence. So I'll just sort of give you how the land lies and what the rules are around that. So any members wish to speak on this item?
Chair, I don't know if Will, did you have anything to add to the report?
No, I think Terry's covered it
Just-
very nicely.
Chair,
Yeah, yeah,
just to
yeah.
see.
I think the only thing that was missed is that it does also need evidence of local community support. So there'd need to be, you know, something of a consultation with residents or a petition.
Do you think they'd have a vested interest in that as well? Wouldn't you really? Wouldn't expect to be any problems there. Marie?
Also, it might be good to include the children's centre, the nursery, and also you've got the Covering Corner, which also have lots of vulnerable people that attend that session, that building. So to your application.
Ish.
Yeah, there's obviously, just to add to that as well, there's the Red House surgery there as well. So there's people turning in and out, and there's again vulnerable people, you know, accessing that as well. So I mean, it's 100% makes sense. I mean, and in the recommendations, it talks about the zones. I mean, did you guys have a proposed zone for the 20 mile an hour area?
We are based outside, what is it?
The Red House.
Red House, and we monitor traffic coming from Captain Wrigley's towards us there. So we pick up traffic going that way. It's a bit more difficult the other side because a load of car parking spaces, and that tends to get in the way. So we've got a clear view coming that way.
But in terms of the zone for putting the 20 mile an hour speed limit, what would you guys propose? Is in between what sort of?
It has to be more than one street.
It's got to be before the school on either side, really, but even one side or the other would be ideal.
So it's from the roundabout all the way down.
As they come in and into that area, they can see you've got to slow down, basically.
I think it should be between Prince's Way and Victoria Road.
Yeah.
They've cut the speed limit down.
Yeah.
By the time you come to the school, you got the school, you got the nursery, you got the entrance to Leon Rec, then you got the cars coming out of Weatherspoons. Cars want to go into Weatherspoons. Then you've got the cars want to go to the tailors that park on there. And then as you go further down, you've got the doctors. Then just past the doctors, you've got a clinic for your teeth. So there's a lot of things down there that and a lot of people, and you've got cars coming in and out. So it should be all the way from Prince's Way down to Victoria Road. With 20 mile an hour, if you get hit by something at 20 mile an hour, you should walk away with just broken bones. But over 25, 30 miles an hour, depending on your age and your fitness, is how much you're going to walk away with.
I think Lorraine's concern is the kiddies. You know what kids are like. They're just
well, they're gone
all over the place, you know.
So I like to go, as you Clive knows, I go to the doctors quite a bit because they're white, and I can see a kid leg it across the road before the mum can grab it.
Yeah. So in conversation with the Highways Department, they've suggested that these work better, or they look at them more favourably when it's a zone rather than just a single stretch of road. So their suggestion was to cover Vicarage Road and Victoria Road in addition to that stretch of Queen.
Ethan?
I was going to say the same thing.
Clive?
When we use the equipment, it does pick up quite quick. We've done it when I stood outside the Red House surgery. Now I can pick them up as they're turning into Queensway off of Princess Way from there, whatever speed they're doing. That's how effective the equipment is that we use, isn't it, George? Because we do Brooklands Road, and as soon as they turn in off of Princess Way, Fenny Way, I catch them at the top.
And you're down the bottom?
And they slow down, but it's too late. But it is effective equipment.
It's certainly it certainly is used better when there is zones there, like 20 miles an hour zone, so the people know they should be slowing down.
Do we have to agree sort of the stretch tonight, or can we sort of? Yeah,
I believe so.
okay, so is your proposal, Ron? So if we think
All the way,
Princess Way,
Vicarage Road, Vicarage
Yeah.
Road, a lot.
include Vicarage Road and Victoria Street, Victoria Road. Yeah, and we're all the way up. Okay, so it's a proposal, have we got a second on that proposal? All those for that proposal? Those against? Any abstentions? Not for me, is that part of the proposal? Well done, thank you very much for your time. We'll take those others items back and we'll follow up with you. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for as well.
Thank you.
Have a pleasant evening. Don't get snowed in.
Okay, so let's revert back to item number 6. This is the planning, which we just need to talk about. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Here's yours. So, right, to review, this is item number 5 now, to review any plan applications due to be considered by Bletchley City Council. So this is the bridge we've just been talking about, PLN 4/2026/037, so bridge BFO 1B, Saxon Street Underbridge, Bletchley, Milton Keynes. So this was a prior approval. So it's a proposed reconstruction of the bridge, which is part of the East-West Rail.
I think this is more about bringing it to your attention. I don't think Milton Keynes City Council have much control over this either, so it's more just for our attention. And obviously, as George mentioned earlier, the road closures, that the impact of that as well. So it's kind of making people aware. But that's in essence, there's not much, we can comment on.
Ish.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that as well. I mean,
Yeah.
just reading through it, I mean, the environmental impact statement, it's all controllable stuff in terms of dust and noise. I think the main thing's 24 months, so Saxon Street's going to be.
It was closed for a week, wasn't it? And you see the curve of traffic going through Queensway.
It did.
But I mean, again, it's nothing really they can do. They need the upgrades. They considered strengthening the bridge, extending the bridge, all the other
Yeah, it's gonna take
non-destructive
time.
routes, and they've got to basically demolish it and rebuild it.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll just, no, not,
The last time it was an absolute shambles because I had to go to the city centre. And I said, you still, what are you at? They said, yeah, you've got to get on to the 6 as usual. So he said, we're not stopping at the stadium. I thought, right, that's great. So he's gone off up Buckingham Road, gone all the way up to the big roundabout bottle dump, starts going down, and all of a sudden he starts coming back again. I thought he went, all of a sudden, he come all the way back down the A5, went all the way and stopped at the stadium. I thought, well, he wasn't supposed to stop there. And then we got all the way to the city. He said, sorry about that. I was halfway up the back of the road. Then they told me I've got to go to the stadium. Then on the way back, I got all the way to the stadium. And the guy said, now anyone for Tesco's gets off here, there's a shuttle bus and we'll have to take a little detour. So as we're coming along, we're up the A5, down the 421, is it 421? Down the 421, going towards Buckingham, sitting there, we're passing all the streets. Then all of a sudden, I thought, he's missed a turn, I'm sure he has. He's driving and driving and driving. I thought, I jumped out of the seat. I said, I think you missed a turning, mate. And he said, have I? I said, yeah. And he had to turn round at the nursery, this side of Buckingham. And then he had to turn all the way round and come back. Half the drivers didn't have a clue where they were going.
so I think what the conclusion is that we try some guidance when the work's starting to take shape, so that people are aware of their diversion routes and the impact on their day, really, trying to get home and get to work, etc.
Again?
Next year.
Next year, right.
Port to 2027.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to item 6. So this is the to receive a management information report on environmental matters, and I'll hand you over to Will to give us some.
Yeah, so this is just an update report, essentially. Allotments, the waiting list is looking slightly more rosy than last time around. We've got 11 people on there now. We're down to just 4 vacant plots. Yeah, and continuing to issue those as we can. Obviously, it's a quiet time in terms of allotments because people are not growing much yet, but I'm sure come the early spring, we'll soon tenant those 4 remaining plots. Landscape wise, all of the winter hedge and shrub maintenance is now complete. So the majority of the work that's being done now is tree work, so crown lifting and economic growth removal. The mowers have had their winter overhaul, so they're ready for the mowing season come mid-March. We'll soon be back into mowing again. Not had a great deal of inquiries through our green spaces system. Only 4 of those since our last meeting. We did have a health and safety audit at Barton Road. So looking at the depot and the work that the caretaking and landscape team do, and that was found to be fully compliant, and we had a very glowing report on the health and safety measures that we've got in place. The EV chargers here at Newton Leys Pavilion, there's some data in the report there. They've been well used since being put in, since going live in September. Between the 25th of September and the 1st of January, there've been 198 charging sessions. It's good to know that they're being used.
I think it's a really,
Ethan, I was just going to comment. I wonder if in the 5 years that we were with BP, whether it was used 198 times.
Yeah.
So to actually, I think the council made a good decision to replace it with this deal, and it cost us no money. So hopefully will provide us with income in future. So
we've got some really good news stories here, which I think we should broadcast a bit out, externally. We've got, I mean, the allotments is really good, 98.5% this time of the year. It's pretty good. It'll kick in just come in spring, so they'll get snapped up. Having was outstanding exemplary in any sort of health and safety is really, really good. So that's, what we set up at Barton Road is obviously, it's really so thank you guys for all the hard work there. And then like Ethan said there, nearly 200 charging sessions of 500 kilowatts. Pretty impressive,
Sure. Is there any way that we can hit the next newsletter, stick all the good luck stuff?
We can
stuff into that newsletter.
Yeah, we can do that. We've got the digital news starting up again now as well. So we just need to, so we've got that, and we've got our socials as well, which we'll use. So things like this, John, Kate, and Davina will.
It's a really good report, and it just shows, I think there's landscaping there, there's the charging.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the next newsletter will be everything in one go, so people can read all positive stuff that this council's been doing and achieving their targets, achieving their goals. Everything's going in according to the strategy for the council, and that would bode well for the community.
Yeah,
to that all the good luck stuff that we've done and achieved in the last year.
Absolutely right. With preset season coming soon, the value there. Our presets. Right, okay, thank you. Any other questions before we move on? Okay, thank you. That's really good. Thanks, Will. Like that. So item number 8. This is to note financial management report. It's budget for the year to the community environment matters. So we're looking at pages 13 to 16 in the pack. So is there any exceptions that anybody would like to raise? Anything that Alison's like to?
There's nothing. It's just for noting. There's nothing to kind of raise right now that would be worth talking about, unless you've got any questions.
Any questions from any members? No. So we'll just note them. Thank you very much. Let's go on to community grants, which is item number 9. Okay, number 9. So we had a pre grant meeting last week, didn't we?
Grants panel, yeah.
Grants panel last week. So we went through each of these, we scored them. So if we start with the green gym, pages 17 to 36. Okay. So we support them previously. So looking for grant application for 1,500. But it's training, wasn't it? This one here, we did the.
Kate, did you have some notes on this you want to talk about? The green gym?
It's whatever you want to know, I can tell you. Yeah, so breakdown of an application.
Yeah. Let's do some training, wasn't it?
Yes, on first aid training.
Yeah.
So emergency first aid training for 6 people, that would last them for 3 years. Room hire for first aid training. We could provide that. Insurance for 2026, 2027. And web hosting. 595 for 2 years for, I think, lasting longer funding for general expenses such as food, food.
Yeah.
So is it a lot of it sounds like it's operating costs for them
Yeah.
to do what they do? I don't know if people are aware of the green gym and what they do in the area. They do a lot for the town council as well. Don't know, they do sort of help out with our dancing.
Yeah.
And they operate the site over in Pinewood Drive, don't they? The volunteers go in, like local residents go and spend the time there, kind of helping to do things there. They do quite a lot.
We're doing a lot of planting in Leon Rec as well. They're out every Thursday. I think 11 o'clock till 1, I think they do. I've yet to be able to attend one. But you know, what they do for us is the benefit we get back from the green gym is incredible. So we scored this as a 10 for achieving the scheme outcomes, 9 value for money, 6 strong governance, and 6 with a fit for the town council strategic aims. So we've got a score of 31 out of 36. And our proposal was to award that grant to the green gym. And they could strengthen having the safety part and the first aid there is really, really important. So I propose that we.
Before you start making proposals, my approach just gone down, so it's just coming back online. Are we actually saying that we're funding the whole project, their training, we're funding their website, we're funding everything for them? Is that what we're saying?
Well, the money they're asking for covers those aspects of what they want to do. I don't think they're an expense, and it allows them to do what they do, really, kind of, on that site down in Pinewood Drive, really.
No, what I'm actually asking is this council, say for instance, funding that start-up business?
It's not start-up business.
Well,
Charities.
Are we solely funding it, or do they have other income streams?
I think they probably try to get some sort of funding. They start as a group of.
But this is the question that I'm asking, because if we as a council are funding their training, say for instance, their first aid training, so we're funding 6 of their members to do first aid. So we're funding their actual physical training for them to be doing what they're doing, and or even funding their website to be built, and it's infrastructure stuff for what I would say the setup of the business. Is that what we're funding, or is the money going towards helping actual people? Because that's what we're supposed to be doing as a council, awarding money to organisations, not to start up the organisation, but actually to fund the project itself that's going to impact on residents. And that's what I'm asking. Are we funding them to get their certificates, to get their website, to get this, to get that? Because if that's what we're doing, we're not that type of council to fund that. We're there to fund them if they've got their operation up and running already and they've got the certificates, because you can, any of their members could walk away with a 3-year funded by the council first aid certificate and leave with that certificate because it will be in their name. We don't fund that sort of things as a council. I'm just putting it out there for us to think about what it is that we're funding. And what I would like to see is, yes, green spaces do a lot for the council, but how many people in the area of Bletchley and Fenny Stratford Town Council are getting impacted by what they do? And what are we funding? Is it food? Is it training for the people?
If you've read your pack, you should really know.
Well, my pack has just gone under because my iPad's just gone. Hang on a minute, I'm talking. I was reading it and it just went blank. So that's not the situation. What I'm asking is, if we are funding organisations for their startup, then we have to fund everyone else. So we don't fund that sort of thing. I'm trying to ask a specific question about what the money is going towards. And if it's going towards certificates for people, that's not what we do. We fund like the food bank. So we know what we fund the food bank for is to supply food to members of the public that can come in and get the food. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm just a bit worried that we're funding something for actual people to work in that organisation, and that, say, one person could walk away with a 3-year certificate funded by the council.
We're thinking more about the benefits. Craig, sorry.
Can I just jump in, because I partly agree, but also recognise what they do for the local area. If you look at what we're funding the training, we're funding the room hire, the insurance, the domain and the website, and the running costs. With all due respect, we might as well put our logo over the top of the organisation and say it's Bletchley and Fenny Stratford Green Gym.
It's our site, isn't it?
No, but
It's our site, isn't it? Yeah.
Behind the site.
It's our site. Yeah, it's our site.
it's our site, but
They maintain our site and get
we're
one
not the organisation. It's our site, but it's not our organisation. If we're funding someone's organisation to get up and running so that they can provide a service, it might as well be our service, like you said.
We did our site.
I don't think that we want to, we want to do everything ourselves. We want to work with, I don't think there is enough people in the community that want to step up and do things on behalf of their community. I think we're talking about an organisation that's got 600 quid in the bank. It doesn't employ anybody. They are all, I've actually met with them when we opened the landing point for Electra. I think they do a fantastic job. They are amazing people, and I support giving them the 1,500 quid, because actually I think if we don't, I think they're going to fold. And like I said, I support any community that is doing its best to make Bletchley and Stratford a cleaner, greener place to be.
All those things have just got on with it.
Can I also just remind people that we've already gone through this? Me and Terry have turned up to a meeting, gone through the applications, done the point system. These are recommendations. So we can't be going around over the whole application when we've already spent our time doing this.
Otherwise, we can go back to what we did
Otherwise,
before.
it's pointless.
Yeah.
It's pointless us doing that. And I'm not going to do that if we're going to then come to a meeting like this and debate it, because to me, that's wasting
We
time.
are in our right to ask questions, though,
You are,
in order to then
you
go
are,
through to a vote. But I think it's
if
a
we
valid
go
question.
through the whole, every single application and we're going to tear it apart, there's no point me and Terry doing the meeting before.
We've only asked a couple of clarifying
No,
questions.
but I'm just saying.
But we've only asked a couple of clarifying questions, to be fair.
And to be fair, what is the point of this meeting? And asking us councillors to ask a question if we ain't allowed to ask a question. I'm in my rights to ask what it is that we're funding and why we're funding it.
That's why you're doing
And that is a question that needs to be answered to satisfy me that we're doing our due process.
I agree. I think Marie's point is because we have the policy where we have the grants to do that. So everyone's invited to the grant panel to discuss this as well. So I think your point is
There's no
that
one
right with the
turning up,
policy?
yeah. It's
But we
just
can change the
people.
policy again to go back to how we.
If we can't go back to the old system and go back to
I
the old
understand
system, because
both
it's not fair if we're going to waste, going through it all and then we're going to have this.
There's obviously
It's just-
time
It's no
involved,
point. It's
yeah.
just no point.
Can we go for the vote, please?
Right.
Well, I think that, let's just clarify this as a committee. What is the point of a committee in asking questions if councillors around the table can't answer questions? What is the point of doing this if it's only going to be done by one or two people and nobody else gets to say?
I think
I'm just asking a clarifying question.
Have a say,
I'm asking a
and when it's
clarifying
invited
question,
beforehand,
and
no one turned up.
I'm sure I'm allowed to ask a clarifying question about why it is that and who we're funding, or it's just going to be an open checkbook. And in that case, every person that wants to be funded by this council can come to this council and get money. We haven't got a bottomless pit. That is why I'm asking the question. I'm not disputing the process at all, not disputing that at all. The process is a process. We agreed the process. It's a clarifying question and I want an answer, that's all.
Ron?
Obviously, I read all your papers before I got here. So they've been going for a few years. Now they want to extend, obviously they're looking at, they're extending themselves now to come into the more modern range. So therefore, they haven't got the money to do it. So they're asking us for the money for this. It's a one-off payment, isn't it? It's not going to be a regular thing. Next year, they're not going to come back for another 1,500 quid. So it's a one-off payment and they do a good job.
It's an amazing job.
So I think what it is, if it's only a one-off payment, then I agree with Ethan that it's okay. And I also, you know, we're going to come back year after year, and I agree with Richard, we don't fund that sort of thing. You know, so I'm quite happy for them to have it this year, but don't come back for that sort of money again next year. If they want some money, come back for money, obviously. I know the price of plants and things like that is colossal. It goes up every year. There's nothing for nothing in this world.
No.
And what they're doing is such a good job, you know, but we can't be seen to be funding one thing because, as Richard said, somebody else might come along. Well, you're doing it for them, why can't you do it for us?
Absolutely.
You know, so it's obviously, it's a one-off and we can let people know it was a one-off to help them get their website on the go.
One more question, sorry. We did fund them for £1,000 in 24-25. What was that for, sorry?
That wasn't stuff.
all their tools and everything.
Was that there?
That
That
was
was,
their
that
stuff.
was their stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were just bringing their own.
So we expect them to come back in 18-24 months for the next round.
Would have thought so, unless
They get some-
if all the food goes back, they use local volunteers in Fenny and Bletchley and Stratford. Their food gets then donated out, you know.
Yeah, I've looked at their website. They attribute us all over it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Chair, I'm not disputing the project and what the good work they're doing in the community or anything like that. I'm just saying that if we are going to be buying, if I came along to the council and said, I've got this idea, I'm going to be doing this in the community, but I've got no money. Can you fund all my tools, all my training, all my this, all my that to get me up and running? If this council is going to do it for one person or one organisation, whether they be in any of our community centres or not, then anybody can come to this council and ask for a startup. And are we going to fund one? We fund everyone. That's all I'm trying to say, that we don't want to be able to be putting ourselves in a position where precedent has been set. That's all I'm talking about.
Okay.
We have to be clear about that.
So our proposal is that we award the grant of £1,500 to the Green Gym to have a seconder.
I second it.
And all those in favour,
They alliance.
all those against, and all those abstentions. For me, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's
I think carried. Who was for against, sorry? 2, 3. Yeah, 4. Carried. Okay.
Right, thank you very much. Right, it's a good point. It's a good discussion, and it's something we take on board. But let's go on to item 911. So this is to consider a grant application from Girl Pack for some £5,000 to provide 2,000 emergency period packs or up to 10,000 period products for people in Bletchley and Fenny Stratford. So the total cost of Girl Pack in 1 year is £35,000. However, to supply Bletchley and Fenny Stratford partners for 1 year costing roughly £3,000. The above would help fund distribution partners for 18 months, and the extra will take into account any new partners that come on board in that time and help with any admin fees. When we reviewed this, so in terms of are outcomes, 9, value for money 7, strong governance 7, fit with the town council strategic aims is 5, had an overall score of 28 out of 36. And what our recommended to the committee was to award 3,000, not 5,000.
I've just got a query with this. I think it's an extortion amount of money for period packs because you can pick them up for 24p for about 9 or 20 in the home bargains and that. I just, that is quite a bit of money in my eyes as a woman that uses them. But I wouldn't give them 3,000. No, I would give them 1,000. I think it's a bit too much they're asking for the, the amount of money they want. Because you can do it quite cheaply. Probably you could get a load of packs for Bletchley for about 200 quid. So I think they need to find money elsewhere as well. Thank you.
I think it's a great cause. Does it? I can't read the sideways packs. Does it say how many packs it's providing? Because is that in there? Sorry, or what the uptake of usage was in this area before? Because I think that will really support the application.
They've got 11 collection points.
Yeah.
Collecting for Stratford. The amount.
Because
it's 135 collection points in total.
Yeah.
11 are in our area. Yeah.
But I don't think we can say whether it's good value or not without knowing how many packs it is. So I think it's in there. Sorry.
So granting this funding will allow us to provide 2,000 emergency period packs or up to 10,000 period products.
Yeah, but that's most.
Bletchley and Fenny Stratford.
There's no way there's 10,000 girls will use that amount of period packs in our area. Sorry, there's quite a lot.
Sorry, the price per pack is in about 35 to 50p per pack.
Yeah, because they shouldn't be really expensive, but the amount they're asking for.
Brilliant.
I mean, just on the same tune of discussion, I mean, I'm just trying to say, is this some kind of a census as like what has been distributed or a number of girl childs that have received this in those collection centers of theirs? Do we have any kind of information from them which is there?
Yeah.
Like how many individuals out of all of this have received this?
Yeah.
That are coming in from Bletchley and Fenny Stratford, for example, right? Any kind of consensus?
Doesn't say anything.
Something we could actually ask about.
So there's this. So this each emergency period pack includes what it includes.
Yeah.
Girl pack have been distributed in Bletchley as a whole since 2021 and provided 5,783 emergency period packs and 3,586 products. So they've kind of given data around what they've done since 2021.
Yes, there's 10,000 period products for people in Bletchley and Fenny Stratford.
And that was over time.
This goes from 2021.
So that's quite a lot of years then.
Yeah.
So that's not a year's worth of sanitary towels, is it?
Ethan, sorry.
I think it's all of the information is in the papers. It's not just sanitary products. It's a kit that so within there would be sanitary products, there would be wipes, there would be a clean pair of knickers. They've given the price of the kind of individual things. There are a choice of either tampons or, unfortunately, we actually live in a world where, lots of women or young females can't afford to pay for these products, and there is a kind of demand for them, and we think we've got 11 places in Bletchley, Fenny, Stratford. I think I agree with the grants panel that we should award the £3,000, which is what they've said that they need for a year. I also think that you've taken it into account. They wanted more, but obviously it's not rated highly in relation to our current strategic priorities. I think that's been taken into account by the fact that we've not given them the full grant. So I would agree with what the grants panel said.
Thank you. So any more comments before we move to the vote? So with the panel recommends £3,000 from the £5,000 ask. So I'm proposing we award that. Do I have a seconder? You, Craig. All those in favour? All those against? And any abstentions? Thank you very much. That's good. Thank you. Okay, on to the third one. So this one is to consider a grant application. So Ethan's not going to partake in this one. In discussion you can, but you don't want to do it part of the vote. To consider a grant application for St Mark's MK, the sum of £6,000 to provide meal boxes for families in need. So in terms of St Mark's MK is a registered charity, CIO, that provides complete meal boxes, contains clear allergen labelling and simple recipes to promote safety and shared cooking. These boxes contain the ingredients, cooking instructions to feed 4 people and an activity card for children. Distribution via local partners, schools, family centres and community hubs. Beneficiaries are residents of Milton Keynes, reached through the schools and community partners. Specific to our area, they currently work with 11 partners within Bletchley and Fenny, Stratford. Collectively given during the last academic year, 861 meal boxes were ordered and distributed to families in those communities. If received, the grant will be used directly to support those in need within the town council area. Each meal box costs £7. This includes food, packaging, printing and distribution costs. So 861 times 7 is £6,027. So we score this is 9, 10 is the value for money, 8 strong governance and 5 fit for our strategic aims, which results in 32 out of 36. There's anything else, Marie, you know these guys?
I'm happy if I can answer questions if anyone has any.
Any questions from any of the members?
Only one. We rated it the same as the previous application for fit with our strategic goals. And I think we mentioned about not giving the full amount based on the previous one. What was the rationale with not doing that for this one, despite it being the same rating?
So we've gone down to 5.
Oh, have we? Sorry, have I misread that? Oh,
Under
sorry.
the recommendation.
Sorry, I should scroll one more. Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Cool. Anyone?
Ron?
With the last item and this item, we shouldn't have to be doing this.
No, we
We
shouldn't.
do that. We shouldn't have to be doing
It's
this.
climate nowadays.
But I mean, you know, it's totally wrong that we've got to do this.
Yeah,
know,
it's absolutely wrong, but it's.
But we're also fortunate that we can do it,
Yeah.
so we should.
That's what I say.
You know, that's why this whole grant panel exists.
Ethan?
I was going to say, some people consider that Newton Lees is quite an affluent area. I know there are new people in Newton Lees that are receiving these boxes from St Mark's Meals, and I agree with you. We shouldn't have to live in a time where this is needed, but we give loads of support to the Water Eating community hub, which provides the larder service, and I think it's difficult for people right now. And you know, I think this charity wants to put food in kids' bellies.
That's what it's about. Actually, is. Any other questions from the members? So we as the committee of the grants panel, we proposed 5,000 from a £6,000 ask. Do I have a seconder on this one? Thank you. And all those for this proposal, those against, and abstentions. Thank you, that's carried. Thank you very much. So I think we still need to look at the process going forward.
Yeah, and if people
Are there
want to be involved, then they
like that
should come
before we
to
do a
the
panel?
Well,
Sorry.
I can say, sorry I didn't come to that, but I have been before, and it's online, it's really easy, they're really kind of quick, and I think it gives the opportunity for any questions. Like, I think Kate can go back and ask questions of the grant applicant before it actually comes to
And to be
here.
fair, it was only me and
So-
Terry that turned up,
So I would welcome, I think it's a good
everyone's got
idea.
different opinions and views. We can only take on board our opinions and views at that time, so.
Yeah. Okay, so we move on to item number 10, which is to receive a report on community events, and Davina is ready on Teams to give us a briefing. Over to you, Davina.
Good evening. Now on to the fun stuff, I suppose. Event season is fully underway. We have our very first one of 2026 in just a few days. So on Saturday, we've got Lunar New Year, our first Lunar New Year as a town council. Very exciting. I'm not going to go over it because it's kind of all almost done and dusted essentially, and we've covered it over. So just yeah, make it down if you can. That's 12 till 4 at Newton Leys Pavilion. Come and hug a panda. And then we've got community iftar. Again, kind of almost basically done and dusted. So that's on the 20th. So 2.5 weeks after Lunar New Year at Palatial Hall. It's our third iftar. It's one of the favourites in the area as events goes for Bletchley and Fenny Stratford. We've got a real nice lineup of speakers as well. We're working with Saf's Kitchen as the caterer for a third year because we know we get high quality service and food. And really excitingly this year, joining us on stage is a local Arabic school. So we've got 10 children from the local Arabic school coming to do a very short performance before we break our fast. So that's going to be really lovely to have them involved as well. And you know, it's just growing as a community. What's even more exciting is our ticket allocation. We've probably doubled, I need to get the exact figure, but we've doubled the amount of residents from Bletchley and Fenny Stratford. And so we've managed to, we did a lot more targeted marketing around kind of leafleting on Queensway itself and at the local mosque just opposite the office. We stood out there, Kate and I stood out there on a Friday afternoon for prayers, handing out leaflets, looking very suspicious, but everyone was happy to receive one. And we got about 50 more registrations just from doing that. And they are all kind of MK2, Newton Leys, Eton Leys postcodes. So that's really exciting. So we've definitely targeting more of the residents in our area for iftar for this year, which is great. So that's iftar. Any questions before I whiz on to the next one? Excellent. So this is where we need some support from councillors with decisions, please. So we've got Easter. I know we covered some of this off in the working group. So we came together to create the objective to make sure that we deliver an event that benefits families specifically in Bletchley and Fenny Stratford. I know that's obviously a conversation we have, and make sure that those on lower income can enjoy a low to no cost Easter celebration. So the two options that we are suggesting are either doing a community litter pick that, for example, starts in one area and walks a short way and ends up at a local business. We do almost like a little scavenger hunt. We're kind of picking up litter and spotting different things out in nature, etc. And then we support the local business. We're doing hot drinks there, doing some crafts and stuff, and we still hand out the Easter eggs. So people have to register, and we do the postcode validation, etc., like we do at iftar. That's option one. Option two, which from my perspective, I feel like we'd be able to be a lot more targeted with who we're able to deliver these eggs to, and make sure that we do work specifically with families that need it within our town council area. So option two would be working with an existing community organisation, as an example, Saplings, who already run things like HAF programs, etc., and work with them to donate eggs for them to give to their families who we kind of know are from the area and on HAF programs, etc. So yeah, so we need a decision as to which option you'd like to go for, so we can go ahead and do that. And the suggestion is to do it on the Thursday as opposed to the Saturday, so during half term.
All right, okay. Any questions from the members?
Well, I do think that, you know, as one of our objectives from this council is to sort of like put on different events throughout the course of the year, and we definitely need to know that we're doing it for the right reasons and the reasons why we're putting this event on and things like that. Like any of our events, it's about the community. It's about, I think Easter is a good chance for us to reach those families that are a little bit impoverished, that possibly can't afford Easter, and to put something out there so that they can attend and or give their children something to do at Easter. So I think that's option 2 would be my preferred option, to work with organisations that deal with impoverished kids in our areas and families that can possibly attend this event and all get the benefits from it.
Any other comments?
If you go for option 2, that's not an actual event, you're just going to be supporting organisations, correct?
Well, potentially. So it's a mix. Essentially, it would be working with deciding on one of the community groups or 2 community groups, and it's almost like a hybrid. So what we normally do is we purchase eggs for people to have, and they come to a food and craft market, for example. So what we could do is work with the groups where we still purchase the eggs, but then we also support with running a craft day, or still do the face painting, etc., but doing it as part of maybe so for example, saplings do a breakfast on a normal day. We join their breakfast and we do Easter eggs and we do face painting and we get the Easter bunny and stuff. So almost still doing those same things, but making sure that we're working with the families in the area who potentially qualify for free eggs, as it were.
Why don't we do it on a Saturday? Why is it on a Thursday?
The suggestion in the working group was to move it from the long bank holiday weekend because people might be away, etc., and work with it during the half term, especially if we're working with a community group who are doing half programs.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be doing it with supporting half programs, you need to be doing not just one particular place. It needs to be a couple in that specific area, so it's getting given.
Yeah, that's depending on the budget. I think it depends on the budget, and if that's the option, then yeah, we'll obviously try to maximise who we reach using the budget that we've got. And if we're not putting on an event per se, then we've got more budget to spread across different groups.
Because for example,
eggs,
just say you gave to saplings, we use that as an example. That wouldn't necessarily be reaching all them people that would.
No, absolutely.
So if we do it, we need to be doing it so it goes to a few of the one area. But
understood, and that would be kind of, and we can bring that to the working group to validate.
I think it should, be nice to have some sort of community activity to happen. Certainly litter picking and clean up areas and earn your egg, I guess. I'm up.
I just want to know what the cost difference is between option 1 and option 2 for the Easter.
Well, we'd probably use all the budget, but we'd use it in different ways. So I imagine option 2 would allow us to do more eggs for more families. Option 1 would be more of an event cost. So you'd have things like face painting and craft, and we'd obviously fund the hot chocolates that we, if we go to a cafe at the end of the litter pick, we'd pay for the hot chocolates, etc. And so I suppose we then obviously would have to potentially hire some staffing to help with supervising. If we've got 20 kids, we obviously need to think about the safety ratio, etc., of walking from the Dons to the inn on the lake. So there's option 1 has more spend on event costings. Option 2 has more spend on eggs and crafts direct to families.
Essentially the same sort of cost, both of them.
Yeah, the overall cost will essentially be very similar.
Okay. But you'd get more from option 2.
But it's the value, exactly, yeah. So you're just looking at the value.
I guess option 1's weather defendant as well.
Yeah. We lose all the sort of like man hours in option 1 with option 2. We lose all the man hours and stuff like that. We're working directly with families and directly with kids that are more.
Yeah, the operational and infrastructure costs are almost nothing with option 2.
Yeah, and the event option 1 would open it up to more people coming to the event if they know it's there, but possibly from out of the area. I would like to think that whatever money's going is going directly to the kids. But more kids, if you know what I mean, from different areas, like you said. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's sometimes one of our focus is to direct the resources straight to where it's needed. Like more areas, like you suggested.
So we're proposing.
Mark, I'm going to propose option 2, with it being spread into more areas and working with more groups to go towards
Mhm.
the children that actually need it.
Sure.
We've also doing, you know, the hot drinks and whatever you can do to make it, to spruce it up. Or,
Yep,
yeah,
understood.
options.
And I could help you with Davina with the local half
That would be
provided.
great. I appreciate that.
You're second
Split
then.
out. Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, and all those in favour of option 2? All those against? It's carried. Thank you, Davina.
Nice. Thanks, gang. Okay, so a quick whistle stop at Big Street 8 because we are in planning, but we'll obviously discuss it a bit more in the working group. But we obviously know the date, 25th of July, and all fingers and toes crossed for Queensway. But that's what the plan is. So if it's not ready, we'll have to figure that out. So yeah, so at Queensway. And then moving on quickly to the patch.
Sorry,
So
Davina,
yes.
with Big Street, before you move on, if Queensway isn't ready, is there a plan B?
No,
Well, I mean, I'm asking
no.
questions,
I mean, obviously, this is something we have kind of touched on at the working group. There really isn't a contingency at this point, but it's. I think we've got a working group date in a couple of weeks, haven't we, Kate? So it might be something that we can have a bit more of a hearty discussion over to figure out what the alternative is. But I've got some ideas as to how we make it work on Queensway, regardless of what the work is going on. So it'd be good to kind of talk to you guys about that in detail.
Okay.
Cool. The patch, we traditionally do it on Halloween itself, so the 31st of October at Leon Rec. Just proposing that we continue to do that, obviously by sticking to a date rather than a day. The day changes, so it's just, I suppose, to let you guys know that it will fall this year on a Saturday, which most of our events fall on a Saturday anyway. So I just wanted to confirm that you're happy to continue to do it on Halloween itself, with it being the Saturday, because obviously that, you know, will impact kind of officer time, etc., which, you know, our events are normally on a Saturday. So just to confirm that you want to do that, or if you want to keep it to a day in the half-term week.
So the 31st, right? So I think we go with the day, isn't it? Halloween.
Go with the
31st.
Halloween. Yeah, I mean, the reason we kind of kept it to the Halloween date over the last couple of years is because as an event we run 11 till 3. So what we found is that visitors have come, had a good time, done their face painting, and then gone off to do trick-or-treating with their faces painted, etc. So it's kind of a pre-event to trick-or-treating. So it feels like it still works well. You know, even though it falls on a Saturday, like I said, most of our events are on a Saturday anyway. So for this year anyway, it feels like it fits fine. But I just wanted to check with you guys, really.
Have we had any members of the public saying they'd rather have it on the day than the date? Or is it just us that's changing the date or the day?
Well, we've always just done it on Halloween, and there's never, you know, so the year before it was the Thursday, I think, and it was as well attended as it was on. The footfall's been the same across every year, no matter what day it's on, because the date has been Halloween.
You need a decision now?
Ideally, so we can get planning,
Yeah.
but if you've got more questions, we can take it to working group.
Just do it on Halloween.
Yep.
It's Halloween.
Cool, stick with it as it is. Well, is that right, Clark? Do I need a decision or do I need a vote?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. It's the day. It's the day, that's fine.
The day's the day. Right, I'm going to crack on then, unless someone tells me otherwise. Christmas, this one, I don't know if you'll be able to decide today or if we need to take it further, but we are looking to confirm a location, essentially. Obviously, last 2025, the location was Newton Leys Pavilion for various reasons. As an event, it felt like it worked a lot better. Some of the feedback from visitors was that it was helpful having the indoor-outdoor space to provide shelter from wintry weather and stuff. It obviously allowed us during setup to make some on-the-day decisions around safety, because the grotto originally, for example, was meant to be out the back, and that was brought inside because it was just way too windy. And so it just prevented us from having to cancel elements or the entire event by having this opportunity. So, for example, the weather on this Saturday coming is meant to be not that great, but by having it at Newton Leys, the Lunar New Year, it allows us to kind of just carry on with the event because it's all almost indoors. So the proposal is that, or the question is really around around, can we have Christmas back at Newton Leys Pavilion in the same sort of format as it was at 2025, or is the desire to put it back on Queensway, just keeping in mind that 2 out of 4 years we've obviously had to make some decisions around weather and things like that, and the footfall was higher at Newton Leys Pavilion. Whether that was just down to the fact that there was indoor outdoor, I probably wouldn't say that, but it did make a difference.
Ethan.
So I think that we shouldn't use Newton Leys Pavilion next year. If we need to have an indoor outdoor event, I think we should use Sycamore Hall, because it's at the centre of the community and it should be delivered to us by September. I am just concerned that people believe that people in the community believe that it's Newton Leys centric. I've even had people report, even had former councillors report that I want everything in Newton Leys because I live here and I'm the chair of the council. Now, it's not the case, but I just think, you know, sometimes to some people their perception is reality. I think we've invested a lot in Sycamore Hall, and I would actually prefer it to be there rather than here if we need to do that. But my first, I think we need to think about why we do this event. We've always said that we did Christmas to bring people into the high street, and so my kind of preference would be to do Queensway personally, but yeah.
I know it's hard with the weather, but Queensway is definitely the ideal location. You should always have the houses back.
Yeah, I think we, like, you know, since I've been here, like we keep saying, we've had two cancelled last minute,
Yeah.
which we've lost. That's the only concern, but we can't, you know, whether we can weatherproof it a bit better.
It's disappointing, isn't it, the hard work.
It is great. I think I prefer it, but.
Chair, sorry to come back in. I was going to say, you know, do we kind of make sure there's nothing in the Sycamore Hall that weekend? And actually, do we kind of speak to the church and the mosque and say, as a backup, we like this would be our contingency. Are you okay if we have parking on this weekend? But our first choice is thinking. And so actually, what we've got is a plan where it'll be on Queensway. But if we have to implement a contingency, we can move everything to
Sycamore's great, but I'm just thinking about sort of like rides and things like that, which we're limited of space right now.
Yeah,
we are. Have the car park.
It's true.
From the centre and church centre, if that might be.
They'd allow us. It's a different story.
Have an empty car.
Worth having a conversation.
I think it'd be fine for if you pre-booked it in advance for that day. I couldn't see it being a problem. I do it. So what's the difference between me and you? There's none. So it'll be, I think as long as you've given them notice and you're asking in advance, it'll be fine.
And it's a community activity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They might want to get involved.
Well, let's do that.
But anyway.
Then you'll have two
Maybe a
spaces.
bigger one, maybe open up the church.
Yeah.
Joint event.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So Queensway was their proposal
You're
there?
going to propose that then?
I would propose Queensway with a backup at Sycamore Hall.
Yeah.
Second.
All those in favour? You're to be them.
Lovely.
I don't know, can you see? Can you see all the hands? So that
I
was
can
a
see you. Yeah, I see everyone was very excited about Queensway, as am I. So thank you so much.
Good. Thanks, Davina.
Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Right, and our
Yeah.
last one.
Two more.
Two more.
Thanks.
Okay.
Kate.
Right. Let's go back to my.
Into your pictures, but yeah.
Oh, you put my pictures in, I didn't even see that.
Okay, so- Okay, the next one is 10, 11. Sports services updates report. So to receive an update on council and food larder partnerships, to receive an update on the subsidised swimming scheme, and to receive an update on the progress with the warm spaces programme. Over to you.
Okay, I won't keep you long. So on the counselling and the food larder, that was really just today that I've had the conversations with them about the decisions that have been made on the partnerships. And they're very happy and going to keep engaging with us. Love to see how things are going. with the subsidised swimming, I've put quite a bit of data in there for you to read as you would like to. I might have gone a bit overboard on that one. So the main takeaways from that is Westcott got their 10-year agreement in place now. Going to be meeting with them to get some valuable data that's regularly formatted so we can build a broader picture on what's actually happening there with the scheme. Along with looking at having discussions around the timetables, because I know there was at least one thing brought forward around timetables and potential barriers of accessing the scheme. Confirmation on the process to ensure checks are in place, because we've had a slight issue there before. And just a way to reach out to residents that have used the scheme without breaching any GDPR. So try and find a way to work with them and get some information and feedback.
You know, with the swimming, sorry, Chair, do you have to be, you know, our eligibility, is it the same as their eligibility? Because I didn't think, I mean, I might be wrong because I've misunderstood. I didn't think they had to be on using personal credit to be able to get the free swimming, just have the postcode. Is that correct or wrong?
So,
do they have to be on universal credit?
So my understanding is that, so we cancelled it and a few years ago we brought it back, but we said we would only do it for under 16s, over 65s, and adults of working age that were on universal credit or income support.
Oh, okay.
So, but I believe, like West Bletchley, they have a different policy, but there has been, I know there has been some confusion because before Newton Leeds came along, West Bletchley was considered to be like MK3, but Royal Mail gave MK3 postcodes to Newton Leeds. And so there were lots of people that were given the wrong membership because they just went, oh, it's MK3, that they should be getting this. So
okay, just want to, a lot of people asked me about the free swimming, but I wasn't quite sure on the criteria for it, so that's why.
We can share the, you know, I can share the SLA to explain exactly what we, you know, who it's for.
Okay, yeah.
And on Ethan's point, yeah, I've got West Bletchley's criteria as well, which I think we're trying to align them a bit more.
Yeah, because you don't want to signpost them with the wrong information.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be making the website a lot clearer as well.
I'm loving the age ranges of it, and certainly the amount of, you know, under 14s that go, and then the 86 to 90-year-olds. I think that's fantastic. Really good.
Very regular as well.
Yeah, I imagine. And you know, the uptake's gone down a bit, which is why we then reduced it in next year's.
Which we believe is due to timetabling. That's what we know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Less sessions.
Okay.
Warm spaces. Beautiful pictures on there. So warm spaces, it had been going for about a month now, about 3-4 sessions, 3-4 weeks. We put on Q Alliance this year, provided some fantastic feedback. I'm going to continue to do so. Have a read there, it's and then some fantastic feedback from Councillor Weimer. So I'll add some pictures. Who's been attending those sessions.
That's even bigger now. Each week, so the warm space that I do down at the church on a Saturday is just getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Last week there was like over 70.
Good.
So.
Can I come down? I love bingo.
I mean, more than merrier.
I love it.
Yeah. It's been well received.
Super. Okay.
The last thing I have that I wanted to talk to you about was, Milton Keynes City Council have got a portal open currently to express an interest getting involved in the Milton Keynes turning 60. So there is a link on the report if you want to have a look. It's basically along the lines of they're looking to do cultural celebrations in 2027. So we do have time to come up with a plan. It's just they're asking if we would like to, or anybody like to express an interest at this time.
So can I just ask, so for example, Davina doing Iftar and Lorna, any of them kind of events, they can probably apply through this.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
The 60th birthday celebration.
Potentially.
Yeah, I think they can, to be honest. From what I get it from
But yeah, something we can actually brand as Milton Keynes 10 and 60 as well. To recognise
Latest
that.
60 the year after.
Yeah, I think we should definitely, right, what do members think? I think it's a fantastic opportunity. I think, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should apply for a few things, yeah, whatever you can.
Yeah, we can bring it all together. Yeah. Be fantastic. Ish.
So as far as what I've read, essentially we need to propose project ideas. And then that's it. I mean, if there's any further ideas later on in the year, that they won't be included within.
Right, it does say early February. So what's early February? Because that's like now.
That's when, so I reached out to them to say when was the portal going to close, and that's the answer I got was early February.
Well, that could mean tomorrow.
Scramble to
Yeah,
ideas.
So I'm sure you've already made a bit of a draft, I would assume.
I think at the moment, they were happy if we just expressed an interest.
Definitely.
And then we can then have the conversation.
Oh, okay.
We'll do that.
Bit of a beautiful.
We don't have an idea.
Yeah, but absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
We need to get.
The things that I ability, that you normally still have to put. So if you put all the culture events.
Yeah, there'd be sort of, events, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Anything else that we can think of for next year, they can add?
Big Street E and
Yeah, Big Street E.
Yeah.
Is it World Cup next year?
We did,
This year.
no, we did talk about in next year, perhaps doing something in Fenny, and I think it would be nice to do an extra event if we're 60 rather than. I'm more likely to get funding to celebrate something that we're not doing. So it might be a good idea to kind of to have like a one-off next year, and we can maybe do that in Fenny.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like, make it about the 60, not about, we do this already, so we get fun, it's about
So this is cultural
celebrating.
events, kids around doing our cultural.
People would still do.
Yeah, but as well.
As well,
Yeah.
yeah, standalone. Very good. So thank you, yeah, thanks everyone. Absolutely.
So, I'm the controversial councillor tonight. Children's services. Do we do anything with in this committee? What we're doing with child services, what the updates are?
But youth provision, yeah, we're hashing it at the moment. I think the next meeting will come back with a bit more of a plan on that, Richard, but it's a good point, and we've got some ideas. Obviously we've got the funding, so
I think at some point in time as a council, we need to take a deep dive into child services or provisions and what we're doing, how we're doing it. Just have a look at the whole makeup of it and see whether it's fit for purpose for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
we take a different view on what we're going to be doing. So that's a conversation that
we've got the budget for it. Yeah. So the next step is kind of hashing out the plan and then coming to, to members with that. So officers will be working on that, and then we'll just get your ideas as well and input in between now and the next meeting. We'll definitely do that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, right, so thank you all for your attendance and those who are watching us. So yeah, very good. So we'll close the meeting at 24:09.